Hey everybody, thanks for joining us here on 9 News Extended Weather, and it is a bit of a kind of a smoky and a bit of a sultry scene out there, certainly compared to what we saw yesterday when we had all those clouds. Temperatures were mostly stuck in the 70s all day long. Kind of felt like fall yesterday, didn't it? Well, today we're right smack dab into the middle of summer, and you can see outside here in Denver, we are seeing some of that smoke. This will likely increase as we get later on through tonight, and especially I think tomorrow morning, we're going to see that smoke kind of increase for us, and that's thanks to the Sylvan and the West fires out in western Colorado. That'll filter its way through the Front Range as we get later on through tonight as well as into tomorrow. There's obviously quite a few fires out in Colorado, but I would say the two main ones contributing to our smoke in Denver and throughout the Front Range will be, again, the Sylvan as well as the West fires in central and western Colorado. Current temperatures, in fact, Denver at the airport, just taking a look at your in-between hour observations, looks like you just hit 90 degrees in Denver, and marks your 12th day at 90 or above so far this year officially in Denver. There's a totally different situation from what we saw this time yesterday when we were stuck in the, again, upper 60s, low 70s throughout the day, but temperatures now 33 degrees warmer than this time yesterday in Colorado Springs, 26-degree differential for us in Denver. You might remember this time yesterday was when we were just starting to break up those clouds, so obviously a big gap in those temperatures from when we had those cloudy and cool conditions to now obviously sunny and warmer, rising on up to about 94 for us in Denver later on today. Triple digits in Pueblo as well as out along the western slope in Grand Junction. A lot of low to maybe mid and maybe even some upper 90s in the southeastern corner. Eastern Plains can be on the hot side. You get up into the mountains, you're doing some hiking, you'll certainly feel some of those cooler temperatures, 70s and 80s. So it's not officially official yet, so for now we'll leave that at 11, but it's a sure bet we'll get to 90 or above today in Denver, so they'll make it number 12 in terms of 90-plus days so far this month here in Denver, so far this year in Denver. By the way, I was just taking a look at some of these numbers as well. The long-term average for 90-plus days in Denver is just 6. So this has been obviously an exceptionally hot month of June. We'll probably finish with a top 10 warmest June on record, depending on what we see in the final few days of the month. But it has certainly been a hot one, and it's going to stay that way for your day today. Tonight, temperatures drop back into the mid-60s. Probably can leave those windows open, though it'll be noticeably warmer than what we saw last night. Sunset at 8:31 p.m. By the way, we are losing 4 seconds of daylight from yesterday. We're only going to lose daylight every day now until December the 21st. That is, of course, the winter solstice. So it's going to stay on the, well, we're going to start losing that sunlight. I don't think you'll notice the 4 seconds tonight, but you'll probably start noticing it kind of late July, early August. At least to me is when I first start noticing that gradually decreased sunlight. Meantime, western slope of Colorado, much more serious situation out here. And of course, this is where we're just so riddled with that severe and in some cases exceptional extreme drought for us from kind of the continental divide on west. Red flag warnings in place for much of central and western Colorado, including the Yampa Valley on west through the western slope, as well as Dinosaur National Park. You head on into the southwestern part of the state, the San Juans. The Maroon Bell is looking at those red flag warnings. Of course, avoid anything with an outdoor spark in those areas. And unfortunately tomorrow, I could see some dry thunderstorms out that way. And what I mean by that is we get a lot of lightning, but not a lot of rainfall. And that unfortunately does spark many wildfires in Colorado, including, by the way, it looks like the West and the Sylvan fires are both started by lightning. Meantime, smoke, that is going to be an issue for us along the Front Range. If you're of a sensitive breathing group, you might have asthma, or again, maybe some more difficulty breathing in some of that hazardous air quality. Maybe get some of that outdoor activity in today, tonight, while we are looking at some smoke along the Front Range. Today, tonight's not going to be that bad. I think tomorrow morning we're going to see that smoke kind of filter its way through Denver, through Fort Collins, into the eastern plains, and we'll probably see that throughout much of tomorrow. You see those green colors indicating some of that added smoke. That'll be certainly something to watch for. The eastern plains getting some of that as well. We actually do kind of clear things on up in the mountains a little bit. And that is because what's leading to all of our warm weather is this southwesterly flow aloft. So we're taking winds from the southwest and driving in that smoke into central and eastern Colorado. And of course, that does include us along the I-25 corridor. Now, speaking of tomorrow, we are going to be seeing those temperatures even hotter tomorrow than what we're expecting for today. We'll be getting on up into the mid to maybe even upper 90s, some triple digits along the I-25 corridor, Pueblo, Sterling, Lamar, Springfield. Again, a lot of mid to upper 90s for us. And closing on in here on the Denver area, 94 for us in the Mile High City. You head just outside of town, again up by Greeley, Platteville, you get up into Weld County, some of those typically hotter spots. You're going to be getting on up into the upper 90s. So yeah, definitely a scorcher coming on up for your day tomorrow. But that's the last of our really hot days, because our area high pressure, this is what's responsible for all of our really hot weather right now. This scoots off to the east, and that'll allow some low pressure, some cooler temperatures to gradually filter on in from the west. And so that means for us in Denver and into Colorado, a couple of good things come out of it. One, it won't be as hot. I'm pretty sure at this point a lot of you are ready for a bit of a breather from all this excessive heat. Number two, and more significantly, we will see some perhaps significant precipitation work its way into the picture Friday and Saturday. Those look to be, at this point, the two most interesting days in terms of that possibility for some showers and some thunderstorms. Thursday, we could see some showers and storms as well, but at this point, it looks like it's going to be the far eastern plains that sees that chance for showers and storms on your Thursday. Could see some strong ones pop on up, though, on Thursday if conditions pan on out. Meantime, the weekend, we're always looking ahead to the weekend, right? Saturday, showers, storms. Look at that, mid-70s. It's about 10 degrees below where we should be for this time of year. We're normally in the mid to maybe even upper 80s. We're at 86, 87 for an average high this time of year. 76 for us on Saturday. Sunday, 81 degrees. We start to bounce back up with those temperatures a little bit. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to get a little warmer than that on Sunday, and that chance for showers, storms much more isolated. And I mentioned this yesterday. I do think that we're going to be looking overall at a much better day on Sunday compared to Saturday. So if you have that flexibility to change some of those outdoor plans from Saturday to Sunday, I would certainly do that, because Saturday afternoon, evening looking like a pretty good soaker for many of us, especially in the Front Range. But I would say those rain chances increase as you go south for your Saturdays to get into the weekend. So just an early heads up from us here at 9 News. Now, that 7-day forecast, again, the weekend looking stormy, especially to start Friday as well. Thursday, we have isolated late-day showers and storms. I would say at this point, don't necessarily hold me to this. This is an early glance. I would say it's the eastern plains that will see the majority of those storms come up on Thursday. Friday, Saturday, we got those storms around. Those are pretty widespread. And then Sunday is just an isolated chance. Same for us into Monday. But then by Tuesday and early to mid next week, looks like we'll see that ridge of high pressure build back in. What that means is, yeah, back to those regularly scheduled hot and kind of midsummer-like temperatures. A lot of probably 90s going to be in store for next week. All right, I'm going to pop out my phone here and take a little look at any comments or questions that you might have. And if you're joining us here on Facebook Live, feel free to just drop those in the comment section below, and I'll try and answer as many questions as possible. Donna asking about who keeps starting all those fires. It's not a who. Again, I was mentioning this, that it's still early because the fires are ongoing, so you really can't get a clear picture of this. But it looks like both the Sylvan and the West fires, two of the main ones right now in Colorado, were started by lightning. And this is due to something we could see on Wednesday, something called dry thunderstorms. You get in the mountains, you get a whole lot in the way of these kind of high clouds, and you get moisture that's kind of way up there. At the surface, though, it's really dry. And so you get these storms that develop, and they're way above the surface. And when you get those storms, you get a lot of lightning, but that rain that falls from the sky, it evaporates before it hits the ground. So you get all the bad things from the storms. You get the lightning, which we don't want. You get the wind, which we don't want. And the thing we want, of course, is the rain, and we just don't get it because it all evaporates before it hits the ground. So when I'm talking about dry thunderstorms, a little explainer there, that's what we're talking about. But Donna, just to answer your question, that is most likely what's starting these fires. And unfortunately, we have those conditions in place for potentially seeing some of that as we get into tomorrow and into your Thursday. So appreciate that. Lee Ann saying thank you for the weather update. You are welcome. Jess asking about the 4th of July. I'll be honest, I haven't looked that far out because it's about 2 weeks. What is it? Actually, I should say we're getting kind of close. We're a little less than 2 weeks out from the 4th of July. So thank you for the question, Jess. I will take a closer look. Watch back tomorrow, and I'll try and get an early glance for you. But it does look like the majority of next week is hot and dry. Once we start getting to that Friday, Saturday time period, it's a little far out for me to have any real confidence. And it's an important forecast. So I don't want to go out on a limb too far yet. And I should say the 4th of July, memory serves, it is on Sunday the 4th. So we're 12 days out. It's a little far out. And breaking news, Colorado has pretty challenging weather forecast. So I'm going to get to that for you tomorrow, Jess. I'll try and get you an answer, or at least a little bit of an outlook. But for now, just bear with me. It looks like next week's hot and dry, so definitely appreciate that. And of course, if we have any of these red flag conditions, especially in western Colorado, folks, just avoid the fireworks out in central western Colorado. I can already say that to you because we're so dry, so parched in that part of the state. All right, so seeing some of that, and Kate is asking about an outdoor party she's got on Saturday in Firestone. Yeah, Saturday does not look great. I would say, generally speaking, if you can swap that time, push it up earlier into the afternoon. I would try and go kind of noon, 1 o'clock. You should have a window there. It looks like kind of as usual here in Colorado. You get those kind of 3, 4 o'clock storms that'll rumble their way on through the region. That's what it's looking like, and it does look like Friday and Saturday, those are going to be widespread. We're going to be looking at pretty decent coverage of showers and storms. I would say Saturday, too, also looks kind of cloudy, so does look like we are going to be looking at a fair bit in the way of unsettled weather for Saturday, Sunday. Again, if you can push that back by any chance to Sunday, you're going to have way better weather. Jason asking about next week's forecast, defining hot. We're talking about above 90. I'm talking about above 90. I bet we'll get to 90 or above next week. Based on the early look at things, and it looks like we'll be talking about a couple days 90 plus, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. Right now we're at 87 for next Tuesday. May bump that up depending on what some of the computer models say later on today and tomorrow. So just, again, early to mid next week, I'd plan on similar weather what we're seeing today and tomorrow with those temperatures in the 90s and mainly dry conditions. So hopefully that answers your question, Jason. And thanks to all those questions that came in. That'll do it for now. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch.